So I had the Reef, the bog standard cooler. Now with my editing, I was getting up to 86 degrees, which isn't the best. I have got a dedicated graphics card, so I have turned off the APU of the 5600G, and still the temperatures are high. So I decided to go for the Freezer Duo by Artic. I have installed one of these before. I've installed one for my son. It's a lot bigger, a lot better airflow, and it's got a push and pull. It will sit in like that. Just hoping that the clearance will be suffice. It clears the RAM, and I should just get the side panel on. It's got 8 copper bars. I'm not too keen on this. I wish it was fully copper, but I suppose that's the hot spot of the CPU. In the centre should fit nicely. I've got two 200s in the front, I've got a 120 in the back, and I've got a 120 at the top, which only kicks in when it needs to, when temperatures get quite high. This should keep the temperature of the PC down altogether, and it should make it quieter, because when it was getting up to 86 on the RAF or Reef cooler, that was spinning at 2,500 RPM, and it made a lot of noise. So these are all the bits you get. Now we're doing the AM4, so we'll already have our back plate that come with a AM4 motherboard, so we need to keep that. We'll get rid of that. And with these, you will see there's 2 markings on that one, there's no markings on that one, and there's 1 marking on that one, so we can get rid of them. We'll keep the ones with 1 marking. We need these, we need that which comes with it, but I've got a tube already open. The studs, we need the studs, and we need the 4 rubber washers that stop you over tightening it. And these can get pushed to, oh no, we need these 2, and we can push the rest to the one side. So that looks more manageable now. So first of all, we need to install these, and to install these, we need to take the fans off, which you just pull these to one side. They are linked, so we'll probably have to take the link out as well underneath. Just a quick pull on that and get rid of one of them. This one will be the best to take off first. This is just so we can get the brackets on and get it mounted to the CPU. There's the piggybacked one, and there is the one with a splitter on. So as you see now, we've got access to the screws. These are some guide notches. Just make sure that, always good to make sure it's going to sit on in line. Yep, so they go internal like that. Some little grub screws. There's nothing about any washers or grommets. They are a self-washer screw, these, by the looks of them. You actually have, I think they're called pan heads or wafer heads. That's handy, isn't it? It falls off the handle. So that's one of them done. Now I never over tighten, you just get a good nip, don't be going mad, and don't be using a drill driver. It's always good to be able to feel it bite. That's good for me. I'll hold that so I don't fall off again. So now we've got that in place, you see it's going to go up that way, we'll put the back plate back in. Should it line up? Yeah, that's one. If you get one in and then just spin it round, yeah, they're all in. Get your studs, and with the stud, with the line wants to be going towards the motherboard. So the bigger thread wants to be going into the back plate. I just finger tight them up first. So the thinner thread is where it's pointing towards us. And the line is around the thicker thread, and that wants to be towards the plate. That's the bit that wants to go into the back plate. Earthing straps would come in handy. I haven't got any, but I've earthed myself on the radiator. Yeah, if it's such a metal radiator, should be bonded to the mains, to the ground, all the heating system in most properties. That's how I do it. Now they're finger tight, and to be honest, I am happy with them. I'm happy with how they are. I don't think I'd get them much tighter with a tool, so I'm just gonna leave it like that. It's up to you, that. It's up to you whether you're setting them up or not. Let's give it another looking at. We can just present it up just to see. Yeah, that's touching. Yeah, it's always good to double check, make sure everything's presented right before you rush in, because it's just a mess putting it right. You know, get it right first time, take your time. Obviously this needs to be taken off, and Artic advise you to put just 4 lines down each one of these as even as you can. So we'll take that off. I will turn this on its head. Now it is a messy job and you're not going to get it perfect, you just get it as good as you can. So there it goes. There's so many different methods. I mean, people spread it out so they know it's covered. Some people put too much on, not enough. I would rather put a little bit more on than not too much, than not enough though, to be honest. Now once that flattens, probably get a bit of seeping off that actually, but not to worry. So it's not too bad. I was never good at that, but that'll do us. So get everything ready. You've got your thumb screws, setting it down, and these rubber washers you're going to need also. The Artic logo is that way up so it looks fancy, and just push it on. So we have two pairs of hands really, and a bit of a niggle to get to. Once you get one in, you're gonna have a bit more luck with the rest. There's something's holding it, so just get that first one in. Probably better going for the easier one. I don't think I've gone for the easier one because I've got the memory in my way, but that has got a hold. Be a lot easier with two of you, I'd say. A lot easier. I want to get the opposite one in really, because then it's squared off. Thing is, whoa, your back plate is moving. It's not now, but I might have to loosen that one off a bit, so we can get that diagonal. Come on. Back plate's moving. Get the washer on. Just get enough through to get the washer. There we are, there we are. Don't move. Yeah. Push the back plate, push the screw on. Oh, I nearly had it. Come on. Get sweat on here. Come on. I don't want to thread it. Make sure it goes on square. Whew. Right, they're on the diagonals. So now I would nip them up a bit so it pulls it towards and brings more of that thread through. Yeah, the back ones that we put in the extensions, as you're tightening this, it's going to end up tightening them up as well anyway. Why were we designed with two hands? I suppose it's better than one. Come on. So, if you start feeling it, threading as getting a bit, they've gone on easy. As soon as it starts threading, you need to take them off, or else you're just going to bugger the full thing up. It is... Once it's threaded, you'd have to get another extension. Last one at the bottom. Okay, so now we need to tighten up on the diagonals. So do that. A few turns on that one. 2, 3. One, 2, 3. Now I've done this video because I have seen a couple, and Artic have actually got one on, but they make it look so easy. So don't think that because you're not doing it as good as them. You know, we live in a real world, don't we? Where, yeah, there is struggles. Just don't over tighten anything. I mean, these have got rubbers on to stop you over tightening too much. You can see, nice and slowly, bit by bit. See, that's had enough tightness now. That solves that. Oh, you know what? I need to get myself some new tools. Magnetism's gone on it. That's at its lot. Right, okay, we're there. There's no movement in any of them. Good tightness, you can feel it. That'd be tight enough. I'll just give you a close look at, there is a bit of compound that's just come out the side there, but it's not off the CPU, so that's fine. Now getting the fans back on, I did have trouble last time with these clips, and they do look like the same. So front push, so we want the air coming in to push through, and then this one is push, so that will look backwards there, but it's actually pulling it through. So it's a pull and a push, and they work great. You can really overclock your CPU. Now I was going to get an upgrade to my CPU, but I thought, why don't I get this first? you know, and get the most out of my CPU before I move on. Because it was at 80, I'm sure I'll run a benchmark and see the comparison. Alright, come on, be nice to me. See, that's going to chop that there, so move that out of the way. Put them in place. And they would have had them on now at Artic, no problem at all. Right, the bottom ones are on. Seems to go on like that. Go on. That one's in. So that's pushing. And this will be pulling. And I can pack them behind there. So if I have that at the top there, I can get plugged into there, no problem. So yeah, I'm going for that orientation there, like so. Let's get them bottom ones in first because it will hold it in place. It'll be a long video, this, isn't it? I'm just showing you the real struggles. It'll make you feel better then when you're struggling. Maybe we have some whiz kids who will just throw them on. But no, not everybody. Now, did I speak too soon? Front one in first. Yeah, you can go wherever you want. You go up. It's in. It's in. It's in. Whew. So this will link together. You can actually daisy chain onto something else as well. There will be a spare port there. You could put some off. Fan port. I'll tuck that behind. I'll just put that into the CPU header. So always the most nerve-wracking part is switching the machine on. The fans are moving, which is a good start. There's both fans moving. Yep, looks like it. There's quite a bit of clearance, to be honest. Now the heating's been on today, so it's a bit warmer inside than it has been when the fan was in. The heating goes on, but when I'm in on my own, I don't have it on. Saving pennies. Plus the computer runs a lot better. Because I edit, I do like it to run quite quiet. But with that fan, I mean, this is what I've got set up. It's actually only running at 204 RPM at the moment. Let's get the monitor on. See what temperature it's at. I'll probably have to change all these scales. GPU mix, CPU temps. But I'm moving to overclock it a bit for more performance, but so the fans aren't running too much. So if we go down to CPU, 204 RPM, which is very slow, which is great. That thermal pace seems to, and it's at 31.1, it's never been that low. So I'll show you a benchmark on the stock. The last benchmark on the heating, it got up to 73.8. That's when I pulled the overclock off. I did overclock it and it went up to 85. So 73.8. So I'll run that. You can actually hear me GPU booting up. It's got 3 fans on it. It's a GTX 1070. I am going to upgrade it. I did put some new thermal pads on and thermal paste on because it was running at 91 and I've got it down to 79. But this is the GPU test. So when it does the CPU test, we'll have a listen. So with the GPU, when I'm editing, it only really gets used for when I'm putting a lot of effects in, blurring out surroundings, puts a lot of GPU onto it. It mostly runs through the CPU, my editing software, apart from the effects. So we'll see when we get to the CPU stage how quiet it's going to be. So there's a CPU test. It's speeding up a bit. That's so quiet. Wow, that's outstanding. That in comparison, you hear the GPU fans, that's what the CPU sounded like with the stock cooler. Let's see what temperature it got to. 56.8. That is a massive, even a few degrees is a massive savings. We dropped 30 degrees by installing that cooler. So it gives us a lot of more headroom to overclock. And even if you don't want to overclock, you can just have it running silently. I will overclock it just a bit. I'll probably get it up to 65 degrees. The fans won't be running too hot then, too fast then. Let's see them GPU fans. 79. That's actually got cooler. There's a hot spot on it. 68. That's actually got cooler. 100%. Fans running at 91% at 3,336 RPM, and it sounded faster. The CPU fan got up to 1155. The stock one got up to 2,500. And this TM pin 2, which is the South Bridge passive heater, that's at 56. That was getting up to 70, I think. So it's helped out there as well. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to link up this top fan more with the GPU. I did have it linked up with the CPU, but I'm going to have it linked up with the GPU, so it works in tandem with the back fan and the top fan, and it should be a lot more silent and a lot more cooler. I hope that's helped out a little bit. I know it's a long video, but it's a realistic video. And if you could give me a thumbs up, that would be great, because this is share this video out, and the algorithm of YouTube does like the thumbs up. So yeah, thank you and good luck.